Hey everybody, this is Brandon Gibson, owner and developer of Megalo Social and Megalo Global. So it's a good thing that we have all our sites on different servers instead of one big server, because Megalo Social was hacked 2 days ago. Somebody from another country, we've pinpointed it to the origin of China. And so far we haven't been able to identify who it actually was that did it. We just identified the region, and it was China. But a file was uploaded to the social network that contained malware. And normally our servers can catch malware, but this particular form of malware was not something that was in the virus database of the antivirus service that we use. It is now, but it basically turned the platform into one big phishing site. And it fished for login information. And basically it stole my login information. And then it used that login information to penetrate the server. Now, I know you guys are looking at this wondering, what the fuck? So am I. But the data center's technology security system did not detect the intrusion because it was from an unknown source, an unknown type. It was disguised as a picture. It was basically an image that was uploaded to the system and contained malware attached to it. And I don't want to point fingers, but the type of malware that this particular virus contained is not just your everyday run-of-the-mill malware. It is what is known as an injection malware that is commonly used by the National Security Agency. And I believe it's because I have turned down numerous letters from the federal government demanding that I let them into the platform so they can play dictator over misinformation. That is what they've been doing to Facebook, and that's what they're trying to do to Twitter, or X as Elon calls it now. I just spent the last 2 days up straight. The last 2 days I haven't slept. Been napping on my couch every so often, but I've been trying to stay near the computer so I can figure this out in a timely fashion. And the backups were deleted along with server contents and everything else. And we basically had to wipe the servers and start over again. And I had have a backup file that I have tried to upload. And every time I go to upload it, it fails at 99%. And the one time that I did get it to upload, it was corrupted and couldn't function properly. And I have to start limiting who can access the platform. And because of the many issues that we are having, I have sourced this particular attack to come from China. And I want to block every country from the platform except the United States. If you live outside of America, we don't want you on the platform. Sorry, but this is an American company. It's going to remain an American company. That all being said, I think that it's important to share this video with everybody on the platform. And I am working very hard to take as many security measures as I can to block this from ever happening again. And that is why your login information no longer works, because we had to basically give the site a completely fresh start. The backups didn't work, so I had to go to the original source code and reload the original source code. Prevent this from happening again. And I will assure you that I will continue to turn down letters from the federal government. And you're like, well, I thought you said it was China. I did say it was China. The attack came from China. It came from an IP address based in China, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was China. I have a VPN that I can lock myself in any particular part of the world, including North and South Korea, if I wanted to. We use a VPN by a company called PrivateInternetAccess.com, which is a no-logging VPN server, and it has literally millions of connections all over the globe, and those connections can be mocked anywhere in the world. But I do believe it was the federal government that did it because of the fact that we won't let them play dictatorship over what they call misinformation regulation. I believe that people have a right to say what they want without the government interjecting and saying, you can't post that because we don't agree with it. If we did, we'd just be another Facebook. And it defeats the whole purpose of why I built the system. Hi, Mama Kitty. Mama Kitty hears me talking and she thinks I'm talking to her. Isn't that right, beautiful? Anyway, let's work hard, guys, to keep this as smooth as possible of a transition. I have gone out of my way to literally scan all the IP addresses, all several 100,000 IP addresses by the federal government and various other governments around the world, and known corporate entities like Facebook and Microsoft, and I'm going to start blocking each one of those. Now, we use a security service known as BitNinja, and BitNinja is something that should have caught this, but it didn't. So we're going to be taking BitNinja off of our servers since they're no longer reliable. Now, another piece of information, this attack could not have happened at the worst time because we now have a data center hosting partner, one of the most reliable ones that I've ever had. And over the last 3.5 years, I have gone from one hosting provider to another. Dedicated servers, cloud servers, Amazon Web Services. I have been all over the internet trying out different hosting providers. And the company that I have now is known as 20 International. And they are based in the United Kingdom, which is outside of United States waters. Now, there's a key point here in international waters I'm going to get to in a minute. And it plays a very key role in law, regulation, and government control. So we'll get to that in a minute. Now, we use their systems, and they have allotted us $2 million worth of computer data center equipment. And their data centers are all over the world. But what they do is they basically have one server that you have your physical server. And then what they have is what they call an edge cage that mirrors that website all over the world. So if you were to browse the website from United Kingdom or France or Germany or Russia or China or wherever the hell you feel you want to browse from, if you have a VPN, you can browse from any location. If you live in one location, you'll browse from that location. And it will literally show you a mirror of this current website, the current platform. It'll show you a mirror of the site in that location so you can browse it quicker. Instead of taking the travel time for the internet connection to reach out to the United States or Europe or wherever the actual servers are, it will mirror them globally so you'll be able to view the platform globally. And it is based on wherever you live, which makes the loading and the security so much smoother. Now, our particular cache is located in Dallas, Texas, but the data center itself, the main one, is in United Kingdom. But like I said, there are global caches of the server itself, so it's a mirror system. Imagine standing in the mirror, and then you take the reflection of yourself, and you mirror it all over the world. It's looking at you, but it's displaying that mirror all over the world. Same concept. It's a beautiful concept. Now, we're going to get to the point of this of where international waters plays. We have legal services through Legal Shield, And Legal Shield is a very powerful entity because they have a hell of a lot better legal services than LegalZoom, who we had previously did. And our particular law firm is in St. Louis, Missouri. It's called DuBail Judge. It's one of the biggest law firms in the entire area, the state of Missouri. Now, that being said, they have assured us that anytime the U.S. government steps in and says, you need to let us into your company or we're going to seize your servers. Sure, they can put me in jail, but because the servers are in international waters, they can't see the server that's not within their domestic territory. And I want to assure you guys that they won't shut us down. And 20 International has assured us that they won't let the U.S. government shut them down because they don't get involved in politics, which I can respect that because neither do I. When people go on there and they say, oh, you guys are just a rip-off of Truth Social, which I get that all the time. My reply to them is, how can we be a rip-off of Truth Social when this whole project started in 2018? Donald Trump didn't do his until 2020. We were there before Trump came along. So how can we be a rip-off of Truth Social? If anything, Truth Social is a rip-off of us. When in all reality, it's a rip-off of Twitter. They never intended it to compete with Facebook. They intended it to compete with Twitter. And I want to say that our platform goes above and beyond competing with just Facebook. Because not only do we have a social media platform, but we now have a search engine with advanced analytics tools that competes with Google. We have a shopping network called Amazing Shopping that just got launched yesterday, actually. Then we have our own news outlets. We have Newsbench Media, which covers news globally. We have the Greene County Star, which covers Springfield, Missouri. We have the Orange County Star, which covers both Orange County, California, and Orlando, Florida, which is Orange County, Florida. Dallas County Star, which serves Dallas, Texas. And we're working on building news networks all throughout the world for individual regions, and then having Newsbench Media cover the one area. And that being said, that's where our news networks are. We have a video hosting platform like YouTube called Megalo Videos. We also built one for DuckDuckGo at the request, and it is called DuckDuck Videos. That belongs to DuckDuckGo search engine. That had nothing to do with us. We just provided the technology for them to compete with YouTube as well. Megalo Platforms Incorporated is the name of the company, and we have been a target like this ever since Facebook sent us a buyout offer of $31 million in November 13th of 2019. They mailed it to our old address. I moved back to Missouri by then, but when I did a change of address form, I received a letter about 2 months later in the mail. And they had sent it to my old Connecticut address, because I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. And as well as, I guess I'd just say the East Coast, because I spent so much time in New York City and Hartford, Connecticut, I felt like I was there either way, so it was all the same area to me. I'm from out east. And that being said, they mailed it to my old address in New Britain. And New Britain, Connecticut is where I'm from. That's where I live, off of North Oak Avenue. I was part of the North Oak NRZ there for a little while. But I left right before the pandemic happened. Thank God, because my brother still lives out in New York City, and he said it got bad after that. And by the time COVID hit and all the pandemic started, I was living in Branson, Missouri. Love Branson, don't get me wrong, but it's a tourist town, and it's crazy. So that being said, we got that letter in the mail. I don't know, go fuck yourself on it, mailed it right back to Facebook. Ever since, we've been targeted by various government and other corporate entities. Google tried to shut us down. Facebook tried to shut us down. And the only one who hasn't even bothered to fuck with us yet is Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Everybody else has been picking at us for 3 years. And we've been shut down like this before, and it's getting really aggravating. And I have talked to the data center technology provider, and they're going to set us up with better daily backups, and we have to actually pay for that. So anyway, we're going to work hard to keep this from happening again. And we're doing manual daily backups. At midnight, every night, I click the backup button. And then it downloads to my home office computer, a mirror of the sites, and it will be stored on a local server that I have here in my office. And that server has 14 terabytes worth of hard drive space. Now, currently, Megalo Social alone takes up 15 gigabytes, so you can think it's a big record. But since the backup didn't take, and the backup was affected by the virus as well, we couldn't use it. So that being said, it was useless. Which is why I had to go back to the original source code, and the original source code is only 300 megabytes. So the site has basically gotten a fresh start today, and I want to apologize for that. But 20 International is providing us some ways to keep this from happening again, and they're also going to have proactive monitoring for malicious activity. They're going to keep us under security, and I've been dealing with this for 2 days, chatting back and forth with the data center, chatting back and forth with the engineers, the technology providers, the engineers who run the data center, and we're going to get this fixed. But now that we have a stable hosting partner, it's going to be able to stay online a lot longer. It's going to be able to recover a lot quicker. So I want to apologize to everybody that lost their accounts. And if you have any questions, you can always contact me directly. CEO Brandon Gibson is my user account. MegaloBot is an automated system that we built to maintain the site, and it will also do its part. It isn't based on artificial intelligence, but at the same time, it's based on a pretty smart system, and it only looks for malicious activities. It blocks users in other countries that we don't allow. We're going to start blocking India, the Middle East, Africa, and China. We're going to block them. We don't want to have any more incidences like this, and there's too many attackers living in those countries. And I get people who are offended all the time, and they call me or message me and go, "How come you don't allow India? We're no problem in India." And they go on and on like with their Mickey Mouse voices. I'm not trying to sound racist, but I despise Indian people. I have been screwed over by them many times. They own the hotels at gas stations, and they're just greedy assholes who don't have a lick of respect for our country or our Constitution. They just think that they live in gold plate and they get to do whatever they want because they're part of a Patel family or some shit. And they always come at us in a violent manner. And I hate to say it, and this is the biggest reason I don't like Indian people, because 90% of all of India is nothing but scammers. And you say, well, how can that be legal? Well, it is over there because they don't do nothing about it. They don't make laws over there to protect that. In fact, they have entire call centers with thousands of people who get hired and paid by the hour simply to be a pretend IRS scammer. So every time I hear an Indian accent on the phone, I hang up. Why would I trust a country that is 90% scammers? I don't trust them. And that's why we won't hire outside the United States. Too many corporations are sending money to hire foreign agents to work their call centers because it's cheaper for the people who own the companies. Well, I'm with Donald Trump on something. We need to bring jobs back to America. I know he made a lot of mistakes as a businessman and did what he did, but that's one area that I can agree on. We don't have to let our country be in the risk of foreign agents. And I hate to say it because I used to work in a call center. I worked in a call center for AT&T. They have no security. You get a customer's credit information, you can write it down on a piece of paper and stick it in your pocket. There's nobody to stop you. And it's even worse in India because anytime you give your social security number to a chime agent who happens to be in India, they can write it down and then sell it on the black market because there is no security stopping you. You walk into the Federal Reserve and they're going to stick their hand up your ass to make sure you're not smuggling a theft bag. Yet you go into a call center and our social security numbers and identities are up for grabs. That can't be allowed. There's only one person that has access to the administration panel on my platforms, and that's me, and that's the way it's going to stay. And if I ever die, my sister Nikki gets the company. She wouldn't know what to do. But at the same time, I know she's not a dishonest girl. She can handle it. I mean, most of the systems run themselves anyway. There's really nothing to know. And I just want to state that this is never going to work. The government cannot come in and tell me that you have to let us play dictatorship or we're going to attack you and shut you down. Facebook, Google, and all the big tech companies are in bed with the government, and the government is in bed with China. Do the math. It's no wonder they attacked us again. It's no wonder. I'm not going to allow them to come in and dictate it. They can throw me in jail. They won't shut the site down. They won't shut the network down. And if they want to throw me in jail for not allowing them to violate our free speech, go for it. It's tyranny in another form, guys. I'm not trying to sound like a right-winger, because in reality, my company is not right or left. I don't get involved in politics. I don't give a flying fuck about politics. We're going to vote another asshole in this year or next year or whenever it is. That asshole is going to have a self-serving nature. And then 4 years from there, you're going to vote another asshole in who's never going to do what he says. It's a common denominator of a revolving door of all bullshit. And people go, oh, well, if you don't vote, we don't have a right to complain. I'll be like, yeah, I do. I was born here, fucker. I have all the right. I can say what I want when I want, and I'm going to fight for the Constitution and the free speech that it enforces. And I don't give a shit what any public dictatorship or government or another Biden in a different package says. The only way they're going to shut me up in my network is to kill me. And they have to go all the way over to the UK to blow the data center up in order for that to get shut down. Or just fucking hack it like they did last night. Either way, they're not going to stop me, and I'm not going to continue working to keep it secure and keep it safe. If they shut it down tomorrow, I'll just put it right back online. I'm sorry, but you're wasting your effort trying to shut us down because you were just going to fail in the end. Yeah, they shut it down. What I do, as promised, I shut it, I turn it right back on. This is bullshit, guys. It's getting old. You're wasting your time, and most of all, you're pissing me off in the long run. Stop shutting us down. Stop attacking us. You're not going to shut us down. We've come too far to let that happen. Yeah, there was a few times that I wanted to give up, but I didn't. I didn't work 13 years to build this, to put it online in 2018 and 19 just for it to, be a waste of energy. Mama Kitty, she says hi. Anyway, guys, I just want to say thank you for listening, and I'm so sorry that this whole thing fell apart again. God bless everybody. Be positive.